A woman who stored almost 100 pellets of coke inside her body and in her bra accidentally showed Border Force officers pictures of the drugs on her phone. The mother of four, Larissa Linz, was stopped at Manchester Airport after flying into the country from Brazil on August the 24th this year. She claimed she had come to the UK to research nice, pretty places, having previously flown through France and Portugal, Manchester Crown Court heard. She denied she had brought anything illegal into the country and voluntarily showed officers pictures of her time in France. They were scrolling through the beautiful pictures that she'd taken, but then they came across a picture of white pellets, and further searches revealed that Linz had ingested, secreted, and concealed a kilo of the drug both internally and externally. After pleading guilty to being concerned in the fraudulent evasion of prohibition of the importation of the Class A drug, she was jailed and told she will almost inevitably be deported back to Brazil after serving 40% of her sentence. Prosecutors said Linz had flown from Sao Paulo to Manchester via France and Portugal with just a small pink cabin bag. She was spoken to by Border Force officers via a Portuguese interpreter and said this was the first time visiting the country. She said that she likes to walk and research, and she came to the UK to look at the pretty places the country has to offer. She really wanted to go to places like Birmingham, as she had heard it's a pretty little place. She said that she packed her suitcases herself and said she had not bought anything illegal into the UK. The prosecutor said she volunteered her phone to show officers images she had taken in France, and whilst looking, officers saw images of white pellets which they believed to be cocaine. The defendant was arrested and she told officers she had pellets of cocaine inserted inside her body since the previous day. She was taken to Wythenshawe Hospital where at various stages she passed all of the internal pellets. Officers conducted further searches of Linz and found further pellets hidden within the lining of her bra. In total, 99 pellets were seized, weighing a total of 1.1 kilos. The wholesale price for that amount estimated to be around £28,000 in the street. Linz was arrested and interviewed, during which she admitted swallowing 100 pellets before flying to France and spent the next 3 days passing them before returning them to another person. The day before flying to Manchester, she admitted swallowing 10 more and inserting further pellets internally, whilst her cousin placed some more inside her bra. She said she would have received the equivalent of around £1,400. She said she was to have no previous convictions in the UK or in her native Brazil. The prosecutor said her client was in a state of sheer desperation, said that desperation was exploited. She tells me she was instructed how to swallow, conceal and insert the pellets. Had any of those burst, she could have died. The sentencing judge, Patrick Field Casey, said Linz was taking a risk with her safety and liberty, which emphasised her state of mind. Judge said it almost demonstrates the little regard those above her had for her safety. They didn't care about her. Defence said the mum was genuinely remorseful and was desperate to return home to her kids, adding that Linz had been recruited through coercion, intimidation and control and was naive and no influence on those above her in the chain. She said once she had realised the seriousness of the situation, she tried to stop her partaking any further, but was told she has no choice. Judge Field said this sort of crime is regarded very seriously in these courts. There is no doubt you are recruited to carry out the task, and you are recruited by organised criminals who are more sophisticated than you and utterly unsympathetic to the risks you are running. I have no doubt that amount of money was a significant sum to you. So Linz, who was crying throughout the hearing, was jailed for 3 years. And in this next news story, coming from Essex Ways, an armed intruder has been jailed for more than 7 years after threatening a family in their home. The sentence comes after work by Essex police investigators to identify and arrest him despite his efforts to evade the law. Belly Zain entered a home through the back door at about 10 o'clock in the morning on April the 6th, 2013. He was dressed as a police officer and carried handcuffs and an imitation firearm. Once inside, he handcuffed and threatened a mum and 3 children whilst demanding money and to be sent via cryptocurrency. Whilst upstairs, one of the children, a teenager, was able to quietly call 999 and ask for help. Downstairs, Zain snatched one of the victim's phone and continued to demand that he had been sent cryptocurrency. When he was repeatedly told there was no cryptocurrency to give, he panicked and assaulted one of the family, causing him to fall downstairs and sustain a head injury. As this was happening, the mother managed to free herself from the handcuffs, alerted neighbours to the incident. While this was happening, Zain fled the scene. Officers quickly arrived and initially weren't able to find Zain. However, they were quickly able to identify him after carrying out a number of checks and executed a warrant in the Chelsea area of London, where Zain was arrested. A search of another property linked to him uncovered a number of imitation firearms, tactical vests and batons. All items were seized and going to be destroyed. Zain was charged with robbery in a dwelling, 2 counts of false imprisonment, possession of an imitation firearm whilst committing an offence. He was due to stand trial on the 9th of September, but he admitted the offences and he's been jailed for 7 years and 4 months. Detective Inspector Lisa Hurrell, who ran the investigation, said this was a terrifying experience for the family, who showed incredible bravery during the incident, from the teenage child being able to dial 999 to the mother freeing herself and alerting neighbours. Zain escaped the area initially, but as a result of some really targeted work, we were able to identify him and suspect quite quickly and get warrants for a number of premises linked to him and arrest him. And in this next news story, a street dealer caught with drugs twice in the space of 4 months has been locked up for more than 3 years. Mohammed Taj was found with 17 bags of crack after being spotted by police carrying out a deal from his car in Halifax on September the 25th with another man. He was arrested at his home. 4 months later, he was arrested again after police in Halifax received a tip-off that the car being driven by Taj was being used for drug dealing. Police found 11 bags of Class A drugs and £307 in cash and a pin-protected mobile phone. Taj received a total of 3 years and 6 months imprisonment. Sentencing him at Bradford Crown Court, His Honour Judge Colin Byrne said, whilst you were under investigation for the earlier offence, you were out and about just 3 months later, once again in possession of supplyable amounts of heroin and coke. Consecutive sentences are not only appropriate but really inevitable in a case where someone has been arrested for a serious offence and then within 4 months doing exactly the same thing again. Judge Byrne ordered the forfeiture and destruction of the drugs seized and the forfeiture of the cash. So guys, there's a number of stories coming out from the streets of the UK. Once again, if you already haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. Please give this video a little like and drop a comment below as well, and I will respond back. Once again, big respect going out to each and every one of yous. It's your boy GC. Keep it locked. Keep it real.